all is well. Welcome in, everyone. We're going to get started. Today, we're going to be talking about more of the feminine reset and getting away from the hormonal chaos that we are in and gaining that balance back through us resetting our energy and resetting our body. Because a lot of us are not realizing that our body is speaking to us with the signs that we have. And so, we don't take the moment to assess and we don't take the moment to really get into the nitty gritty of the root cause of the problems that we're having because maybe we have too much going on in life. Maybe we think that prescriptions and medications and surgeries are just something that we have to go through as a woman, or hormonal imbalances and PMSing and painful menstrual cycles is a part of life. And so you think that this is just a part of everything that you have to go through, which is suffering. And the reason why you're suffering and the reason why you feel like your body is turning against you and it's not working for you, or just overall imbalanced in general, is because of the things that you consume when it comes to the products that you use and the foods that you eat. And so too many of us are sitting out here dealing with bloating and PMS symptoms, feeling just overall in pain when it comes to our cycle and hating that time and feeling like we're being punished. And it's not a separate instance that women that feel that way find my account, because when you spiritually are in an imbalanced state and you are searching for an answer but you keep doing the same thing expecting a different result, you are going down the same path that everybody in society is, eating the same terrible toxic foods, using the same terrible toxic products, and then expecting a different result or thinking that this is a part of life. There are too many women out here, millions of women, dealing with the same issue of hormonal imbalances. There are millions of women dealing with the same issue of bloating, having irregular cycles, having heavy cycles, sitting here dealing with the issue of being fatigued all the time and tired and never having any energy and feeling like their body is turning against them. No matter what kind of year you've already had, you can turn it around. That whole concept of us thinking that you have to start January 1st, you have to start in the new year because this is the only time for you to reset and to get your life together, has made us believe that you have to go through the rest of the year the same. You have to go through the rest of your life the same. You have to keep doing the same thing as everybody else. And this box that we put ourselves in is what's normal, is causing the issues of millions of women having the same issue when it comes to hormonal regulation. We're thinking that PMSing is normal because we've given it a cute name. We've given it something to name it and categorize it in, so then we mentally know where to put it, right? But the reality is that is not normal. When you're PMSing, when you're having those irregulations and it comes to your hormones, when it comes to your emotions, that means that your body is in fight or flight mode. That means your body is panicking. That is not normal. That is not something that people who have balanced hormones deal with. And when you do have those issues of, okay, maybe I'm a little irritable, maybe I'm a little tired, you are able to recognize these things when you sync with your cycle. When you are not synced with your cycle, you're randomly going to be sitting there thinking like, man, why am I so moody? I'm craving all these different things. And then, oh, I forgot my cycle is coming in a few days. But when you're synced with your cycle and you actually understand the point of what your cycle means inside the body as a woman, you understand how important it is, you realize that we haven't been taught to sync with our body. We haven't been taught to sync with our cycle. Because if we do, there will be so many more healed women on this earth, and the feminine essence won't be under attack the way that it is. It wouldn't be hurt, but rather thriving. Because too many women are sitting out here in this space of being attacked spiritually, emotionally, and physically, and we don't realize it. And how we know this is because what do you eat on a regular basis? When you look at your plate, when you think of a meal, when you think of your favorite thing, what do you eat on a normal basis? Meat, dairy, processed snacks, juices. You're sitting here consuming all these different Swedish fish and hot chips. You're sitting here eating cakes and cookies and ice cream because these feel good when you eat them, right? It gives you that dopamine stimulation. Maybe you've had a hard day, so this is your treat for yourself. This is your view of what should be done to your body to help you regulate and to get through to the next day. But when you are sitting there and you're having a hard day and you take care of your body the way that you're actually naturally designed to, you won't be craving all this terrible toxic junk to eat for hours on end. You might want a snack or two. You might want a few different sweet things, but you're not going to be sitting here eating cakes and cookies full of processed snacks and processed ingredients that you don't even know what they are. You'll grab some fruit when you're using your body in the correct way when it comes to food, using food correctly to help your body, rather. You'll be actually grabbing the things that support the body. And when you do eat a processed snack, let's say you want a cookie, it's not going to be full of crap. Like when you get your Chips Ahoy, when you get your Oreos, it's not going to have titanium dioxide. It's not going to have citric acid that makes you toxic on the inside and makes you inflamed. And that inflammation is causing the pain during your menstrual cycle. That overload of inflammation is from the foods that you eat. There is not a separate situation when it comes to that. And that overload of inflammation is causing you as a woman to have irregularities when it comes to your cycle. Because your cycle cannot be balanced and it cannot be comfortable when your body is in an inflammatory state. Because your cycle is directly connected to, have you been doing what you're supposed to do this month? Are you healthy? And are you not inflamed on the inside? But when you are over-inflamed, when you are not taking care of your body using food as your medicine, you are going to have a terrible cycle. Because that is a direct connect to, have I been taking care of my body? Have I been giving it nourishment that it needs? Have I been supporting it fully? Or have I just been filling my stomach to make it to the next day because I was hungry? Because that's what we're taught to do from a very, very young age. You're hungry, fill your stomach. You're hungry, here, eat this. Don't ask any questions. Here, go to this restaurant because you're starving. Go get fast food because it's quick and easy. The change that you are looking for starts with you getting to the root cause of the issue. Fixing your fatigue, your mood swings, your PMSing is first you realizing that the problem is that it's not just a symptom, but rather it's a sign and it's a message from your body to let you know it's been fighting. And it keeps fighting and it's working overloaded. And at some point, you are going to stop listening to your body and stop hearing it subconsciously and consciously. And then now you're going to start to develop diseases if you haven't already. This is how you get to the point of you developing cancer. This is how you get to the point of now you have to have a surgery or you might unalive. Or now you have to get a hysterectomy because you have too many fibroids and cysts and all these other issues going on in your reproductive system. Because women's wombs specifically are under attack right now. And how you can tell is because look at the health industry, look at the numbers, and also look at how the fact that they released, I think on Women's Health Week about a month ago, a little less, give or take, a Women's Health Week, how they were talking about they want to be more transparent when it comes to the things that we're charged for in the medical system, how we're treated, how we're helped, and etc., whatever else that they love to put in that article that came from the White House, right? But in the same breath, in the same month, because I think this was the same month, or at least give or take a couple of weeks, in the same breath, a few weeks prior, they had cut funding and defunded a program that was helping researchers who are a team of women help research women's reproductive health when it comes to fibroids and cysts, specifically fibroids, because fibroids are so heavily prominent in our society now. How deep it's getting with it when it comes to the symptoms and how early they're seeing the symptoms of women that develop fibroids in teens and young children. They're seeing the symptoms already. And there was a research team who was on it, who was ready to help, who was starting to actually get funding for their program. And guess who defunded it? The same people who are coming out and telling you they're trying to be more transparent with your pharmaceuticals. They're trying to be more transparent with the billing, that they're trying to help women. This was released on Women's Health Week, that they're trying to do all these different things. But prior, a month or so, give or take, they just defunded a program that is supposed to be helping women in the same light that they're swearing up and down that they're doing. Because them promoting and them programming you into this transparency mindset when it comes to the people who poison you and then sell you the solution to the poison that they gave you, that mindset that they're programming into you is to reiterate the trust, because they know right now we're in a rocky foundation when it comes to not only this country, not only the world in general, with finances and everything else. So they have to make sure that you keep trusting in the system that's poisoning you. And that's the prime example. Prime example. There's hidden things in your skincare. There's hidden things in your food. There's hidden things in these products that they're promoting to you is to clean and to be healthy in your home, because you have to bleach your house, right? These are the same people that are telling you to bleach your home, but then they come out with an article and they let you know years after people have been using bleach for centuries, hey, do you know that bleach doesn't really do what it's supposed to be, what they claim to do on these commercials? that it actually doesn't clean, but not only does it add a whole bunch of hormone disruptors inside of your air, but it also throws off your body, it throws off your animals, it throws off everything in your home, and then the smell stays. You go nose blind to it, but those hormone disruptors stay in the air. They stay on the surfaces, and all it does is just spread around the germs. That's a actual scientific article that you need to look up about how bleach doesn't actually do what they promote to you in these commercials, because it's all marketing. The same thing how they market it to the everyday mother about the fact that if they want to be able to cut down time in the kitchen and not have to deal with all the animals in their farm and all this different stuff, to start promoting them to consume dairy from a process that goes through a process and is now sold on shelves, aka they started selling skim milk. They started promoting to them, hey, everyday mothers, start getting powdered milk. But they didn't tell them the only reason why they started doing that was because of money. Because they told farmers to start producing all of this dairy, all of this milk from the cows. They're going to be paid. They're going to be compensated, right? They told them this centuries ago. And they were like, okay, so it started the dairy industry. Once all the people got back from the war, they no longer needed all the powdered milk that they were selling to these people that were overseas to make sure they had something to consume when they were on the battlefield. When they no longer had that anymore and everybody was back home, they're sitting there like, well, what do we do? What do we do? And then they started promoting it to the mother, because this is going to cut time. This is going to help you out. It's going to give you more time with your children and your family. It's going to help you be able to do all the different housework that you have to do in less time. And now here we are, centuries later, decades later, and we're still consuming the same way. We're still eating the same things. And we're still believing in the system that has told you that they lied to you. They even, thank you for the likes, I really appreciate it. They literally said that they paid doctors to back the programming when it came to these ads and these commercials and everything else that they were running at that time. They paid the doctors to say it. They didn't do any studies. They didn't do any research into it to actually confirm these things that they were promoting to you. Because there's a difference between what is legal and what is lawful. Law means correct. That means the truth. That means it's right. Legally, they're allowed to promote to you this stuff. Legally, they're allowed to go through these loopholes to lie to you. Legally, they get away with a lot of things. You have laws, which are your morals. You know that these things aren't right. But their laws are not the same as yours. And their legalities is everybody's. And so instead of us believing in the law, we believe in the legalities. Because when you start to believe in the law, you'll realize that law says that you're supposed to treat your body like a temple. Law says that your body should be consuming seeded fruits of the earth. So if you're not doing these two things right there, you are going to be sick. If you're not doing those two things right there, your cycle is going to be out of whack. You're not going to be balanced. Legal and lawful are two different things. And I am not any type of lawyer or any type of professional law advisor. But the point is that I understand how to make the connections when it comes to definitions. Thank you for the follow. I really appreciate it, and the likes. Because we are overexhausted as women, and we consume caffeine, we sleep 8-10 hours a day, we do everything that we're supposed to do, we do skincare, we're doing all the things that they promote to us for us to do to be healthy, right? And yet it's not working. Why is it not working? Because we are taught to silence the symptoms rather than heal, because you cannot heal in the system that is poisoning you. And this is what I keep trying to get y'all to understand. You cannot slap a momentary bandaid on top of a gash and be like, oh, I'm fine, knowing that you need stitches, knowing that you need to go to the hospital. You can't sit here and know that you have been throwing off your body for 20 plus years, and then all of a sudden you're going to do a detox or a cleanse for a week when it comes to you believing a diet culture of doing keto, doing paleo, doing Weight Watchers. Do that for a week or two and you'll be perfectly fine and your body will reset, because that's not how that works. You can flush your system. You can reset your system. But for you to be completely healed in a week or two when you've been throwing your body off for 20 plus years, that's not going to happen. Because you know why? In 2 weeks' time, you're not changing your habits completely. Your body is still holding on to the toxic, terrible trauma that you have put it through. Let's be honest, because that's toxicity. You go through trauma and your body holds on to that trauma. You have to give it time to actually trust you again, because a lot of you have lied to your body. You've told your body, I'm going to start cleansing. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to do this. And subconsciously, your body holds on to these things. Consciously, you might forget, but subconsciously, your body holds on. And so now your body's been sitting there like, well, she told me that she was going to eat better 10 years ago. She told me she was going to cleanse 2 months ago. We still haven't done any of these things. And your body's like, okay, she's not listening to me. I know she's not. So I'm going to give her more symptoms. Now her cycle is going to be terrible. And you do this for years and years. So now your body no longer trusts you and you are in fight or flight mode, because your body says, well, I know I have to survive and I'm going to try to keep you alive. So what we're going to do is every time you eat, I'm going to hold on to this. So now you're bloated. Every time you eat, I'm going to hold on to these toxins because maybe I'll be able to use it later. So now you have excess fat, which is more bloating. And so now you have that toxins is stored inside of your fat. You have bloating going on, which is all inflammatory issues. And then your body is going through this full cycle of now it's recycling your estrogen. Now it's recycling your progesterone. Because when your liver is overloaded, which is your detoxification, your hormones are going to be off because it can't detoxify and release those excess hormones. So then now it's recirculating estrogen. Now it's recirculating progesterone. Now you have androgens who are growing and thriving in that space, which androgens are a stress hormone. That is a stress hormone that is released in the body when you have too much excess hormones when it comes to your estrogen, your progesterone, and you are in fight or flight mode. It's deeper than just cortisol, because we love to talk about cortisol on this app. It's becoming popular again, people talking about their cortisol being high. But people don't realize that when your cortisol is so high for so many years, like a lot of people are, and you know that you're stressed out, so then you're like, I have to get my cortisol low, right? Lowering your cortisol is not the solution, because when your cortisol is high for so long, it's going to plateau and hit a bottom. Because it has to hit a peak and then it's going to hit a bottom, because it can't stay where it is. This is your body regulating itself. But instead of it going back to the balance to be healthy, it has to hit the rock bottom because it says, I don't know what to do, panic mode, cut it off. So now you're hit the bottom. This is where your cortisol is. And that also puts your body in a stressed out state when you are high or low cortisol. You have to have balanced cortisol. We're so heavily trained in this system to believe everything that we see on the internet and hear on the internet. And people are not telling you the full truth. You cannot use a supplement. You cannot use a surgery. There is no tincture that is going to help your body regulate and balance itself again until you start using food as your medicine. How are you doing, Anaya? Welcome in. Welcome in. I'm glad to have you here. You have to get into the rhythm and understand the power of your feminine essence in order for you to see how you have disrupted your body for years. But when you haven't experienced the power, when you haven't supported your cycle and you've suppressed it, you're not going to see the balance in your hormones. You're not going to see how your body has been overloaded and how it feels when it's not overloaded with toxins, when it's not overloaded and feeling like it doesn't have enough nutrients or not enough rest. Our wounds are under attack. It's deeper than just, oh, I want to have kids and I'm having reproductive issues. But it's deeper than that, because your hormones are out of whack. And when you have an overload of estrogen, when you have an overload of progesterone, these two things are going to cause cancer. Different types of cancer, but it's going to cause cancer. High progesterone is making you more in the masculine. This is going to cause you to have different things, because now you're growing facial hair. Now you're showing more masculine features. Now you're having dysregulations in your feminine hormones because you're stuck in the masculine. When you have an overload of estrogen, we already know this because it's very popular to know this, you get breast cancer. It causes thyroid problems. The same thing with high progesterone. These are going to cause issues with your thyroid. It's going to cause high blood pressure, because that's a big thing. And then people are not putting two and two together. When you have a hormonal imbalance, specifically estrogen dominance, you do realize that puts you in an insulin resistant state. So now you're going onset diabetes. This is what I mean by this dysregulation, when believing in the foundation that has poisoned you is going to keep us sick. And we're raising more generations of women who don't understand how to seek with their cycle, or the importance of seeking with their cycle, and actually tackling the root cause of the problem, which is food and the products. We as women aren't taught this from very, very young ages. So then we sit here and we think that diet culture is the way to do it, and we starve ourselves and we calorie count. I have been plant-based for over 4.5 years now. I don't calorie count. I don't restrict different foods because I'm like, oh, I can't eat this right now. But I realize the point of different times of my cycle deserve different foods. I have to have different foods. Sometimes you don't need to eat carbs. Sometimes it's great for you to eat carbs. Your body needs them. Sometimes you need these different things of you need to do a cleanse when it comes to fruits and vegetables only, raw fruits and vegetables. Sometimes it's good for you to fast at this time. There's times that you do not need to fast because it's going to throw off your system completely. But you have to know what phases of your cycle so that you can understand what phases need different foods. If you don't even know the phases of your cycle, you're not even going to get these foods because you don't know when to eat them. You're going to be physically, emotionally, and spiritually thrown off because your cycle is physical, it's emotional, and it's spiritual. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. It's literally your feminine essence and it needs reset. So, instead of your body being overloaded, and instead of you sitting here thinking that this is just a part of life, we have to understand why the body is overloaded, why the liver is overloaded with toxins. Because when your liver cannot clear out your hormones, it stores them, which is causing weight gain, acne, mood swings. And so the toxins are coming from food products, it's coming from makeup, cleaning products, even the tap water that you're drinking. Because if you're drinking tap water, unfiltered water in general, you need to stop. When the pancreas is dysfunctioning, which your pancreas is where your insulin is regulated, or it's supposed to be, that you're going to be sitting here dealing with the issue of your blood sugar is going to be unstable, which is insulin resistance. So then you're going to be hangry, you're going to be exhausted, you're going to be irritable, and these energy crashes are going to happen every time you eat. And then not only are you going to have energy crashes every time you eat, every single time that you think that you're fasting and you're doing something great for your body, so you're skipping breakfast or you're skipping dinner or whatever else, you are still going to put your body in a panic mode, which is going to cause insulin resistance because you had no stabilizers. You have to eat stabilizers. And not enough people realize what stabilizers are when it comes to your food. And so when you are lacking these stabilizers and that you're having different issues when it comes to the regulation of your pancreas, this is going to affect your kidneys, because now your kidneys are being worked overtime trying to filter your blood because sugar coats everything. So now sugar is coating, it's coating your blood, it's coating your organs. Your liver is now being coated with toxins. Your pancreas is sitting here trying to pump out more insulin to compensate the crappy insulin that your body has. And so then you're sitting here dealing with a swollen belly. You're dealing with the stress and from fluid retention because you're not getting hydration on a cellular level. And when you're not getting hydration on a cellular level, you do realize that's where cancer thrives and loves to live. When you're not getting hydration and oxygen on a cellular level, you are promoting cancer to thrive in your space. Every single day we come in contact with cancers. Let's really break this down. Every single day we come in contact with cancers. The only difference is, can it live in your body or can it not? Because that's the truth. That's the true real tea. The only reason why people develop cancer and it sticks and it develops a tumor and then it starts taking you out is because it has something to feed off of. Parasites love toxicity and inflammation. Cancer thrives in a non-oxygenated, hydrated space. And guess what's taking all of this nutrients that you consider as food from the crap that you eat? Parasites. Parasites love an inflamed space. They cannot thrive when you get out of this inflammatory space. But you first have to get down to the nitty-gritty of what is causing all of these issues. And too many people are not focusing in on your gut balance, your pancreas, your liver, and your kidneys. People come to me all the time talking about, okay, well, how do I rebalance my gut and get rid of parasites? And I'm like, okay, thank you for the follow. You want to do this, but are you focusing on the full body or are you just focused on the gut? Because they're like, well, I got this gut tincture and it didn't work, or I've been taking sea moss and I'm not really seeing a big difference. Should I be seeing a difference? I don't take sea moss, honey. I've told people this all the time that come to talk to me. They're like, I take sea moss. It's not really doing it. I don't take sea moss. I never had to start taking sea moss. I'm not saying it's not good for you to take sea moss, but my point is that they sell you so many band-aids and then y'all wonder why it doesn't work. I don't have to supplement anything in. I drink herbal tinctures I drink herbal teas and take tinctures when I feel like, you know what, I need a little extra. I haven't been doing everything that I needed to do. But just because I'm not doing anything, no, that's not going to work. Not doing anything but expecting a tincture, a surgery, or something to work for you is not going to work. Because at the end of the day, lifes. Sometimes things hit, and you're like, you know what? I don't think I did enough for me to get my iron for this month, and I know that my cycle is coming. Or I don't have enough energy, and I know that I have these things coming. So taking a tincture is okay. Taking a herbal supplement is okay. For you to now drink a herbal tea is okay. But when you're not using food as your medicine, when you're still using terrible toxic products, and you think that you're going to get rid of all your hormone disruptors by drinking a herbal tea, go find somebody else. That's all I got to say. Go find somebody else, because there are plenty of gurus on here who are lying to you, telling you that this new powder is going to help you be able to do everything that you need to do in your life and get your life together. Go find a guru that is selling you some kind of TikTok product, because I'm not. How are you guys doing? Welcome in. Thank you for the likes. When your gut is imbalanced from you consuming antibiotics, because that throws off your gut biome, processed foods, snacks, when it comes to your Swedish fish, your hot chips, you eating Cheerios and Lucky Charms, you consuming dairy, you consuming processed foods in general, processed sugars in general, you eating terrible toxic meats because they make you inflammatory. This destroys your gut, because like I said, you are feeding parasites. And not only are you feeding parasites, but it's throwing off your digestive tract, because your pH is not getting reset with the foods that you eat. When you don't eat pH resetting foods, but you eat a bunch of food all the time, your gut is going to be off, which is going to cause you to be bloated. It's going to cause you to have unpredictable digestion. So one minute you're in the bathroom, next minute you're not for days, you're confused, you're constipated, or it's flowing too much. Thank you for the gifts. I really appreciate it. You're having anxiety and depression. You're having panic attacks, and people are sitting there looking like, well, what does that have to do with my gut? That has nothing to do with my gut. In science, they have nicknamed your gut your second brain, if you do not realize this. Your brain in science, your gut in science is nicknamed your second brain. So that means if your brain is your regulator for your hormones, for your mood, if your gut is off, your mood is going to be off. You're going to be dysregulated. So now you have anxiety. Now you have depression. Thank you for the roses. I really appreciate it. And then, truth be told, on top of all the other dysregulations, now you're dealing with the issue that your cycle is out of sync with your body. And so now you're going back and forth to the doctor trying to figure out what's going on. They're giving you birth control. They're telling you to take this. They're giving you a surgery. And your hormones are going haywire. It's not just because you're PMSing and you get over emotional, or that you're just overwhelmed and stressed out, but your body is burnt out emotionally, physically, and spiritually, because you are not synced with your body. Your body is craving for you to actually eat real foods, fruits, vegetables, legumes, beans. A plant-based meal is not the problem here. People who don't eat enough fruits and vegetables that come to me complaining about problems that they have love to throw back in there about the fact that, well, what is that made of? I just don't know. I don't know how you do that. I'm not going to sit here and explain the science of how a fruit and a vegetable can be made into food, but you don't want to explain the science of how an animal can go through their whole entire life and never have an antibiotic. I'm not going to sit here and explain a plant-based meal to somebody who doesn't question how an animal can go their whole life never taking an antibiotic, go their whole life just feeding on grass alone, like they say. Because if an animal really can live their life without antibiotics and be as big as they are and produce as much meat as it is and not have cancer, not have any parasites, not have anything, what do they need to give other animals these things for? If only certain animals that have antibiotics produce parasites, why are they giving the animals antibiotics? Why are they making grass-fed animals eat inflammatory soy, which is GMO, and eat corn, which is GMO? And they feed this to you, and you consume it. And if you don't know, these genetically modified foods, and this is also a scientific article that I had researched, I think about end of last year, I want to say. And if you're on my Wellness Wednesday email, you got that email sometime last year, so you know what I'm talking about. How they talked about the fact that genetically modified foods, specifically genetically modified organisms, GMOs, they promote a cancer-causing cell to replicate in your body. It's a cancerous cell that is a different kind of cancer from all the other cancers that we have out here. And nobody's really doing enough research and talking about it because they're promoting to you genetically modified foods because they swear up and down we don't have enough food. But this genetically modified food is producing a cancer-causing cell to replicate more than ever. They said the more that you eat, the more that it replicates. And this is what they promote to us. They put this in your meat. They give these animals genetically modified foods, soy, corn. They don't just eat grass because they're grass-fed. And how I know this is because I want to one day, I want to have animals. I love animals. They're great. So I have been doing research for years because I want to be prepared for when it happens. Cows don't live in a grass pasture. They don't live on a farm that is just straight grass in their normal setting. We have removed them from their natural environment and put them on these farms with no woodland. Cows are naturally dwellers of the forest. In forest, what is there? There's grass, there's berries, there are vegetation. Pastures don't give that to them. So your grass-fed cow is not going to be healthy. It's not going to be big. It's not going to produce this thick, hearty meat that they're giving you on these shelves. So this is what I mean by you don't question anything. So please don't come in here questioning me about a plant-based meal and how it's going to taste when you don't question the meat that's on your plate. And this is all of it. It's not just, oh, I don't eat out anymore. It's not just, oh, okay, well, I don't go to McDonald's. It's all of it. Thank you for the hi bear. I really appreciate it. Because if you are sitting here wondering why you don't feel like you, or you're wondering why you're sitting here thinking that you're lazy or you're crazy, it's not because you're lazy or you're crazy or that you're overloaded with anything when it comes to you being a burden, but rather it's the fact that your body has been overwhelmed and it's overdue for a reset and you haven't figured out how to do that. And so I'm here to help you be able to get to the space of learning how to do that. And when you are ready, if you are ready to get rid of that emotional bridge and get that gap out of the way and actually understanding what you're supposed to be feeling like again, I have started today. The women who are already in here, we're starting today. The email is going out in a couple of hours as soon as I get done with this live. I have started my Balanced Body program. This program is going to help you be able to not only align with your feminine with understanding how to sync with your cycle, making those plant-based meals that are going to support you, and understanding what time of the phases of your cycle you're supposed to be eating different things. Get rid of this managing symptoms. Getting rid of this, oh, I'm overwhelmed and I'm fatigued and I'm tired and I'm stressed out. But actually syncing with your cycle and getting out of survival mode. Learning how to make your own non-toxic products. Learning how to make your own non-toxic medicines so that you can completely rebalance your body, and doing it step by step the way that I have for over 4.5 years now. Because it's simple. It's 6-week process that I have simplified for you with the strategy that I have that is going to be tailored to your life, so you're not sitting here playing guessing games. Because there are too many people playing a guessing game with their health. There are too many women that are out here playing a guessing game with their health. And you cannot nourish and rebalance when you are playing a guessing game. Because at the end of the day, it's not about perfection, but it's about giving yourself the permission to try something different that's outside of this box of normal. Because normal is diet culture. Diet culture makes us sick. Normal is thinking that it is what it is. I'm just going to manage it and I'm going to sit here and try to figure it out by day. It's not possible. So before I get off of live, I will take any questions that you have. If you're wanting to know more about the Balanced Body program, it is linked in my bio. You can get everything with Klarna, Affirmer, Afterpay. And so if you are tired of feeling exhausted, if you are tired of sitting here feeling bloated and inflamed, feeling like you are out of sync completely, if you're dealing with estrogen dominance, if you're dealing with progesterone dominance, please let me know by joining this program so that we can help you. Because there are so many women, there are millions of women dealing with the same issue, and there's no reason. Genesis is a part of the program. Genesis, you will be getting an email in a couple of hours. I'm going to finish out the few different things that I want to get. I'm going to get you your contract over. And as well as anybody else that is planning on signing up today or is already, in the works, you will be getting your contracts today. You'll be getting your emails today, and then we will get started this week. I'm very excited. You are so welcome. You will get the link for you to book your first session once you sign your contract, so that we can go ahead and get you started. And for any other women that are interested, that are looking for that support, or you're looking for that help, and you want to dive deeper and get that not only one-on-one support with me, but also that simplification by the step-by-step that I have, like I said, that link is in my bio. It's called the Balanced Body Program, because we're getting back to balance. Thank you for the follow. So if you guys have any questions, drop your questions down. And if you don't, I'm going to get started and get to work with the rest of the things that I need for the women that are in the program. And I don't know if I'll be live again tomorrow, but if not, we'll be live on Tuesday. So what questions do you guys have? And thank you for the gifts. I really appreciate it. And the likes, guys. I see you. I see each and every one of you. I see I'm reaching the audience that needs to hear it, because, ladies, I knew that I was ready to feel like my body was at home again, and I was ready to be synced with my cycle, because I didn't understand why it was so painful. I didn't understand why I have to go through this every single month if this is something that is normal to the human, to the woman specifically. And I asked the Most High, and He gave me answers. And everything that I have connected and made the dots for you spiritually is in alignment as well with the Most High and His presence and His guidance, because He showed me these things. He allowed me to understand the fact that your body is a temple, and it's just deeper than you just reciting scripture and going, this is what it's supposed to be. But actually understanding that a temple has to reset. A temple needs to be cleaned. A temple needs to be supported, not just filled, but supported. You can't just fill the temple up with stuff. That's what hoarders do. That's not a healthy environment. A healthy environment is filled intentionally. It's used intentionally. It has a purpose. You're not just going to let people start throwing trash all in the temple. So why are you eating trash? Why are you consuming trash? Why are you consuming anything that you don't know the ingredients of? My cycle has been amazing since I started syncing with it. Amazing. Going plant-based was not the game changer until I started syncing with it. I can say that. It was great. It felt good. It did what it needed to do for me to be manageable. But to heal the problems that I was having and to actually see what the cycle is supposed to feel like, I had to realize and get out of the space of, this is what it's supposed to be, that I'm going to have pain, that I'm going to be uncomfortable, that this is the uncomfortable feeling for me I think that's just, I don't know if all women feel like that, but I feel like I'm always just uncomfortable in that situation. But the uncomfortable feeling of, I have no energy, I can't do anything, I can't go out, I can't be a part of life, I have to sit here and just suffer. That shouldn't be a part of it. You shouldn't hate your cycle. You shouldn't be feeling like your cycle is against you. I didn't get away from that until I started syncing with it. And so that's what we're going to be talking about in these first couple of weeks of the program, is understanding the phases and understanding how you need to eat. So then by the end of it, we make sure that you are sustaining that. And we talk about how it syncs with the moon and everything else, and diving deeper than what I can talk about here on TikTok, basically, because I can't talk about everything on TikTok. They had censored me for a minute. So we're just now getting out of that censorship. So that's why I have programs. That's the reason why I have different things linked in my bio, because there's a lot of things I can't talk about on here. I say a lot, but I can't say a lot. So I'm not seeing any questions. Let me read this one. Wait, it's slow to leave and always comes back, and I'm toxic work, but I love that. Genesis, we're going to talk more about that for sure, because that's what our first meeting is going to be, is getting deeper into what can I do to support you in the space that you are in right now, so that it's comfortable, because it is going to be an uncomfortable process for people who have never done it. Or if people believe in diet culture, it also becomes an uncomfortable thing, because it's new. Anything new is uncomfortable because you don't know the unknown. And so once we get rid of that unknown feeling and you're actually in familiarity, it'll be way less mind consuming, because it's not time consuming at all. I try to make everything simple. I try to make everything sweet, because we all have things that we got to do. We all got a life. We all got plenty of things to deal with as it is. The last thing you want to do is be having to like switch your whole life up and have to deal with something else. And so thinking about diet culture, that's kind of what you do. You switch your whole life up and you have to deal with something else. When you're doing this and you live in this lifestyle, it becomes a part of you and syncs and meshes with you, because this is the way you're supposed to be living. Diet culture is not the way you're supposed to be living. That's why it's so uncomfortable, and you go back and forth. You hate it, and then you do it, and then you're like, okay, and then you feel good, and then you flip back, and now it's not working, and now you're not losing weight. because it's that fluctuation of imbalancing habits instead of getting to the root cause and changing. And so I appreciate you guys for the likes. I'm not seeing any more questions. So I appreciate each and every one of you who have joined the program. I'm so, so excited. Yeah, we'll start. Next week is when we will actually start getting our one-on-one sessions rolled out. Today is the first day where you're going to get all your information. I'm going to hop off so I can get that started. I hope you guys have a great rest of y'all's day. This live will be posted on YouTube if you have missed any of it and you want the rest, or if you've missed any lives and you want the rest of them. Yeah, I think I've covered my bases. The link is in my bio. Get it with Klarna, Firm, and Afterpay. And peace, y'all. I hope you have a great, amazing rest of your Sunday and a great